Hey, it's your guy Tyrrell back with the interviews. Real Madrid, PSG, second leg of the round of 16 Champions League. Who would progress to the quarterfinal? Would PSG be able to finally prove that they are amongst the elite and win a big game at home to knock the champions out of the competition? Would they be able to do it without Neymar? And what about Real Madrid? No Toni Kroos, no Luka Modric. Who would command the center of the pitch? Don't worry, here at the interviews, we've got you covered. So on this edition of the interviews, I'm going to briefly break down Real Madrid against PSG. PSG, Real Madrid, second leg, big game. PSG were probably the better side in the first leg, but Zidane's second half changes did change the outcome of the match. They did win 3-1, so all PSG had to do here was win 2-0. Much easier said than done, especially without Neymar. We already said that Real Madrid were out there without their two key center midfielders, so how would they line up? If we look at the board, we got PSG in the blue, we got Real Madrid in the red. Real Madrid were more of a 4-4-2 as we expected. Ronaldo and Benzema up front. On the flanks, they went with Lucas Vazquez and Marcos Asensio, and at midfield they went with Kovacic and Casemiro. Whereas PSG stuck with their 4-3-3. Angel Di Maria slotted in instead of Neymar because he's obviously injured. And then at midfield, they went with Verratti. They went with Thiago Motta, who returned. He didn't play in the first leg. And they went with Rabiot. What went right? What went wrong? As we briefly break this down, we have to look at it and see that Real Madrid's shape was superb. The first 10 minutes was very frenetic. Back and forth, lots of loose passes, and that was kind of the theme of the first game. A lot of speed, no real control, which is a shame. And then in this game, it was kind of the same, where they were both going end to end, no real control of the game. PSG throughout the first half, a lot of loose passes, weren't really assured, and that was a big issue. But Madrid dropped into two banks of four, very high line, kind of tried to squeeze the midfield, and then the wingers came in a bit narrow, so PSG had problems getting balls into Di Maria, into Cavani, into Mbappe, and that was very key, which meant there was space on the flanks, and what they could have done is try to push them out and get Alves forward, get Yuri Bacici forward. That didn't really happen, and basically they just stuck tight. Rabiot, Verratti, Motta did play the ball around. They did retain possession well, but there was nothing really in between those lines. There was no real penetration trying to get through, trying to zip passes into those lines, no real dynamic running. That's where probably they missed someone like Pastore, who could play that pass a bit more creative, but he was never really going to slot in. Motta was kind of the pace setter at deep, but Benzema dropped in on him and kind of set that tempo and ensured that he didn't get time on the ball to really do his thing. The times that PSG did break into these spaces where Verratti did kind of pull into those lines or get players forward, Varane and Ramos were quick to get up and step into the play, really break up the play. And if not, Kovacic and Casemiro, they were very key in that respect, where if there was space here and the ball was played there, they were quick to harry in and make the challenge. And they were superb on the night, Casemiro and Kovacic. There was the one opportunity where Verratti did get the ball between the lines, jotted in, and you saw Varane and Kovacic kind of break in and apply pressure on him. And for that, with that being said, they really didn't have any issues to deal with PSG from that regard in terms of the center of the pitch. Cavani struggled and he was marked really superbly. We saw Mbappe and Di Maria swap flanks on occasions, but really struggled to get anything going. A lot of Di Maria's work led to a poor cross, or he overtouched the ball, or a sloppy pass. He wasn't really into it. He couldn't get his crosses into the box. He was ineffective. And the key player in the first half going forward in terms of creating chances was Dani Alves, who was able to get forward on a few occasions because Asensio didn't really track his running going in. There were two occasions where he slid balls into the space behind Marcelo, and there was one where Di Maria got onto one. No, there's one where Mbappe got onto one and he failed to get the cross into Cavani, attempted to shoot rather than play the ball back to Cavani, and that was really where they got their chances from, and the constant switching didn't help. And then you look at what Madrid did well, and there was just the fact that they were sitting deeper, trying to play not really play on the counterattack, but when they did have possession, they weren't really looking to break down the opposition. They were slowly moving it methodically, trying to find an opening, but weren't too eager on breaking forward and pushing forward. We saw Benzema and Ronaldo kind of push out into the wide areas when Real Madrid did get on the ball, possibly trying to isolate the defenders. We saw that those were the two chances that Real Madrid kind of created in the first half, or three, where they were all came from more wing play than if anything else. And what we saw was the first one, it was just an Asensio long ball that PSG failed to deal with, and it fell to Ronaldo, and he in the right channel here, and he teed up Benzema. We look at the second opportunity, where it's a short corner, and Asensio plays the cross into the box, and Ramos forces Areola into a save. And then look at the third opportunity, which really epitomizes what they were trying to do. It was the wingers were high, Marcelo has the ball and he's pressured, and Benzema just makes the run around. Marquinhos doesn't deal with it, breaks free on goal, should score, hits the side netting. But that was what was basically happening with PSG in that regard. And Real Madrid were trying to break in on the counterattack. They were compact and organized defensively, ensure that nothing really broke through the lines. Real Madrid were trying to attack through the channels, and Benzema and Ronaldo. And that's how the first half really panned out. Obviously, Real Madrid tried to step up on a few occasions and high press them, but PSG easily bypassed that pressure. But what Real Madrid, they were quick to just drop back into their shape, keep those two banks, and even at times when it looked like PSG were getting their fullbacks forward, we would see this happen, where they had the four, they were narrow, but we'd see Vasquez and we'd see Asensio drop into that space. And there was really nothing for PSG to push through. There were no runs in behind. There were no vertical passes into that space. And when there was Casemiro and Kovacic stepping in. There was Varane and Ramos stepping in. There was Carvajal helping them out as well. And in that regard, it was very tough for PSG to really break lines or find anything or find any areas to really penetrate. And with no crosses coming in from the flanks, this was really an ineffective attacking performance. When you look to the second half, what had happened was that PSG really lost the game in the first 4 minutes, and there was two carbon copy chances where Marcelo is able to step forward and kind of push this PSG line back behind Mbappe. The first opportunity was a counterattack through Benzema. He drags a marker with him, and then it's Alves against Marcelo. Ronaldo in the second half just staying as wide as he could, delivers a cross in, he drags Silva in, nods the header wide. And then after that, you see Alves get dispossessed by Asensio. Asensio breaks down the line. We see the combination between Asensio and Vasquez, and it's Ronaldo again getting across Silva unmarked, nods the header into the net. PSG did try to change things. They brought on Pastore for Mata. That did lead to a bit of a spark. We saw the combination with him and Berchiche, which led to a near post cross that Cavani would normally score, but Ramos tracked him perfectly. And then the Verratti red card, the second yellow, really unnecessary, didn't need that. Brings them down to 10 men. They did score for a fortuitous goal, but when you were able to take off Kovacic and bring on Toni Kroos to really change the game and really calm down the tempo and ensure that they dictated the tempo, Real Madrid were in cruise control. They had the chance to even increase their lead with Ronaldo and Benzema on the 2v1, and then they eventually did it with Casemiro, very lucky deflection as well. But Real Madrid here, organized, experienced, clogged the center of the pitch, high line. PSG didn't offer any variety in their attack, no runs in behind. They really lacked the penetration, no control in midfield. Yes, they could play those short passes between themselves, but Rabiot didn't really affect the game. Verratti had a few moments, but at this level you expect him to control it. Didn't do that. And the wide players, Vasquez and Asensio, deserve a lot of credit for sticking in the midfield and pushing out when they had to. They changed the game in the first leg in the second half, and they were the key players here again, and they deserve a lot of credit. Zidane deserves a lot of credit, and Real Madrid have moved on to the quarterfinals, where once again PSG have left us wanting more, and this could possibly be the end of a team that were supposed to be the next big elite team in Europe, but failed. But let me know what you guys think. Meet me in the comments below. Don't forget I upload videos every day, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And that was your daily dose of the interviews.